What is going on, Garrett? Welcome to summer. Are we at summer out there yet, or what?
Oh, I don't know if we could call it summer. We were in a freeze warning last night, so it just won't give it up. It's been real cold here the last week, windy. We're just battling with this weather.
Gotcha. But you're open. All the ice is gone now, right?
Ice is gone. Yep, that water's trying to warm up, but we get a few days where it seems like it'll creep up and fishing gets really good, and then it drops back down, and we're kind of in a low right now. But I'm hoping the next 10-day forecast looks pretty good. So hopefully we can crawl out of this hole.
That's awesome. What's the weather look like for Memorial Day weekend coming up here?
I think 70s to 80s. I just looked before we got on here and they bumped it up again. So like I said, if we can hold on to that, the fish are there. They want to chew. They just can't get those right conditions. And we've seen glimpses of it here the last week or so, 10 days, where we just get those right conditions. That water temp gets right where it needs to be. The water clarity's there and they go nuts. But just getting that right alignment with everything seems like it's been a little bit of a battle.
Certainly sounds like you know what you're talking about coming into. Garrett, why don't you tell the world on who you are before we get any farther, just to add a little credibility to yourself?
So I'm Garrett Bonham. I work for Brys Guide Service as one of the guides, and then I'm also part owners of Ed's Bar and Bait Shop here in Devil's Lake. So I do all things tackle at the bait shop. You won't really find me on the bar side, but I'm usually somewhere on the bait shop side. I do all the tackle ordering, stocking, all that fun stuff. So if you're mad that something's not on the shelf, it's probably my fault.
There you go. Well, I don't think that they're going to be that mad because you walk into that place and it's packed full of the goodies that you use on the daily. So, with that being said, you know you're running the bait shop. You're on the water almost every day during the summer. What's it forecasted to be? What is it? What are we excited for this summer? I know that the boat landings are now all open and functional and ready to rock for everybody that's coming up for Memorial Day and the rest of the summer. But let's get into what the lake all has to offer this year.
You know, the walleye numbers going into this year are, if they're not record, they're right there. There's a ton of fish in the system right now as far as walleyes go. And the exciting part with that is there's a variety of size. I know some years we kind of see more of that 10 to 14 inch range, and there's other years where there may be more 15 to 20 inch range. We're seeing it all this year and last year. So I think that's going to be really exciting. Just we've got up and comers, we've got good eaters, we've got the picture fish. We've kind of got it all right now. We're pretty spoiled as far as the walleye fishing goes.
That is awesome, man. You guys are pretty liberal, I guess, with the walleye limits, right? I mean, if somebody's coming from out of town, what are they able to keep for that table fare?
So you get 5 fish a day. You get 2 days possession, so you can bring 10 fish home with you. One thing I always like to tell everybody is if you do come out here and you've got 10 walleyes in your possession, do not put them in the freezer, because if you do get stopped on your way home or while you're lodging or whatever that variable might be, the game and fish is going to want to count them. So if you do freeze your fish, make sure you got them laid out, whether that's a Ziploc bag or vacuum sealed, so they're able to count individual fillets. But yeah, we 10 fish, any size. If you're in my boat or with any of our guides, you're going to keep kind of that 14 to 20 inch range is kind of what we're looking to keep. Anything smaller or bigger, we're going to throw back.
Okay. Very cool for the history of the lake and the up and comers and all that other good stuff. So going back to that, you know, you got your daily limit, your possession limit, part of the Eds and a couple other places along the shoreline and the lakefront there. You do have and offer cook your own catch, right? I know. Well, I know that for a fact because I've actually been to your establishment and done it, and it's fantastic. Let's dive into that for people from out of town because it is really neat, you know, to be able to come in and do that. How does that work?
Yeah, so you come in, I'd have your place prepped how you'd like them, and then you give the bag to the bartender, and you can call ahead, maybe give a heads up too. That always kind of helps. But you can swing by any night of the week, and we'll get those fried up for you. Whether you have a side of chips, cheese balls, or cheese curds, I should say, French fries. We got some options there. So come on in, get them fried up. We'll do it fresh.
That's awesome. But if you don't want to do the fish fry and you just want to clean them on your own and all that, I believe this week The reports are that a lot of the fish cleaning stations are going to start being opened up. If I was coming from out of town and I'm not staying at one of the local hotels, which majority of them all have either fish cleaning establishments or whatnot. But if I'm camping or if I'm doing whatnot, where can I find the fish cleaning establishments along the lake?
So a fair amount of our boat ramps have fish cleaning stations that are open in the summertime. So I believe all of those are open as of now, but we have a year-round one that is located just on the south side of Devil's Lake, or south side of Ed's Bait Shop on the south side of Devil's Lake. And if you ask me, it's the nicest indoor year-round fish cleaning station that you're ever going to see. It's got 2 full-size tables, 2 grinders, big stainless steel sink. It also has a bathroom. That surprises a lot of people, but that's kind of the Cadillac of fish cleaning stations right there. But yeah, a lot of the boat ramps have them. If you end up at one of the boat ramps that doesn't have one, then I'd recommend checking that one out on the south side of Ed's.
Okay. So, all right, now that we know where to process them and all that other good stuff, what do we need to catch them? What is your recommendation this time of year? I'm coming out Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Memorial Day weekend. It's right now. The water temperatures are cold. What do I need to stop in by you, grab for bait? I know that you're going to point everybody in the right direction so they keep coming back to you, but what do I need to have as a presentation to be able to catch these fish?
So we've been doing a few different things. Casting jigs and plastics. So right now I prefer a 1/4 ounce jig with a long shank, and then like a 3 to 4 inch paddle tail is a lot of what we're using. So that's been pretty good, working it back slow, let that thing hit the bottom, let it sit there for a bit, kind of hop it a few times, just kind of slowly retrieving that. On the warmer weather days, getting that water temp up a little bit, you can just kind of speed up that retrieve, but you're going to kind of want to work it slow as of right now. So I've been doing a fair amount of that. Once we've kind of located a pocket of fish, another great thing is slip bobbers with leeches. That's been another big producer. Yesterday, we actually were seeing some fish. We couldn't really get them to bite the jig in the plastic. We actually threw some bobbers on them, got a couple to go there, pretty lethargic. And we actually ended up throwing some crankbaits in there, some number 5 Shad Raps, and just kind of ripped it and paused it right in front of their faces. And we actually got a few reaction bites out of that. So that might be something that's worth trying a little bit too. And you'll see that crankbait bite get better as the water temp starts to warm up. But I think we got a few reaction bites out of it yesterday. So it might have taken a day that would have been a little slower and would have been tougher fishing with the jigs and plastics or the bobbers and leeches. And we put some fish in the boat. So that's something to look into as well.
You're talking about paddle tails. Is there any specific color that I need to be looking for when I walk into your place and I'm looking at paddle tails?
So we've got kind of 2 different water clarity issues right now. Some stuff is still a little clear. Some stuff is almost too dirty. On the dirty stuff, I'm probably going to use more like a white, something a little bit brighter. And there's some areas that have some clear water. I'm going to go with something a little bit more natural, maybe a silver, a black, something like that.
Okay. And targeted area that I'm looking for, is there a certain depth of water? Is there a certain, we don't want your spot on the spot, just a general starting location for those that are coming from out of town or those that are in town, just find out, like, do I want to be looking at 20 feet of water, 8 feet of water, 3 feet of water? Where would your recommendations be to start?
So this time of year, I'm going to say shallow. So I'm going to see 10 feet of water and less. And kind of pitching up towards that shoreline. It depends on the shoreline. There's not a lot of weeds right now. So you can get pretty tight with your cast. And I'd work that thing out, keep the boat maybe in 6 to 8 feet of water, and just kind of slowly work it. And some of the warmer days, I'm seeing the fish up a little shallower. Yesterday, they seemed like they were a little bit deeper. I think it's just water clarity and just the way the water temp was. They were slid out a little bit. But you get some wind blowing in on the shoreline, start casting that, try to find the warmer water. So that's going to be kind of the back bay stuff. Yesterday it was 50 degrees. Within a back bay that I was in, one side was 50 and one side was 51. I'll let you guess on what side all the fish were on.
I bet you where the wind was blowing.
wind was blowing, and it happened to be where the 51-degree water was. So you can use that wind. That usually kind of tell you where that warmer water is going to be, and usually the water clarity is going to be kind of where you want it with that wind blowing shoreline as well.
Awesome. Is there a specific, I guess, Devil's Lake is so big, right? You have vast body of water and everything else. And what's nice about this time of year is even if you don't have a vessel, if you don't have that opportunity to get out in a boat, there's a lot of guides out in that area like yourself that, either you're full or you probably know somebody, or they can go to the chamber website and, go through the list of guides and find somebody out there to be able to get into one of those boats. Even if you're pulling your own personal boat over there, a lot of times what we would recommend is for them to hire a guide for a couple of days and then do it on their own for a couple of days if they're there for a long time and they want to do it, because you have such a huge body of water to be able to break down. What if I don't have a boat? What if I don't have the means for a guide, anything else? Is there an opportunity to stand on the shoreline, come into your shop, grab some bait and bobbers and stuff like that, and to be able to catch some fish from shore? Is that a possibility?
For sure, for sure. So the tourism department and Lake Region anglers have some fishing piers that are scattered around the lake. So you can find those if you go look at their website. They've got a map of where everything's at. And we've got a lot of roads. The hard part with some of the roads is the riprap can be pretty steep getting down. So they've had, like over at the casino at the 57 bridge, there's a little walkway that you can get down. So those are some places to look at. Around the bridges, you've got some current areas that usually funnel some fish together. One thing I usually see this time of year, if you're shore fishing, the evening is probably going to be about your best time. Kind of that last hour of light is when you're going to probably do your best. Not saying some fish can't be caught midday, but I would definitely, I would focus on hitting that evening as well. If you wanted to kind of jump around, and midday, you might be able to find, catch a few fish and you go, okay, we got 2 fish on this spot. Maybe that's where we're going to spend our evening. If you got a few fish to go there midday, evening might go nuts. So that'd be kind of what I would recommend, is kind of jump around, see if you can catch a couple fish midday, and then wherever your best midday spot was is where I plan on finishing my day.
In your opinion, does it pay to fish at night out there, or shall I just make dinner plans and go to one of the fine local establishments and have dinner? I mean, do you see a night bite on that lake?
Not a whole lot. If you get a full moon, bright night, yeah, you might kind of stretch it out a little bit, but you'll see by the time you can't see, the fish really are they're kind of done anyways. Like I said, if you got just the perfect conditions, you might kind of stretch it out a little longer, but for the most part, go back to town, get some dinner, hot shower, relax, get ready for the next day.
Darn right. That's awesome. Is there anything going on this weekend in town that, might be an extra attractant for people that are coming through? Do you know anything that's going on? Any bands, any activities, anything for the Memorial Day weekend?
We've got Devil's Run coming up here, and I don't remember the exact dates of it off the top of my head, but that's always something. It seems like the groups that come then will do their day fishing trip, and then usually in the afternoon, evening, gonna go check out all the cars and everything. I said I don't remember the exact dates on that one, but that one's coming up here pretty quick. Okay. Another thing that's worth checking out, I always send my groups to Whitehorse Hill. It's a federal game preserve on the south side of the lake. So they've got elk, buffalo, whitetails, and prairie dogs. And then they've got some walking trails in the back and a visitor center. Definitely worth driving through, checking out. Maybe you can get a glimpse of an elk or two.
That's awesome. And, speaking of the upcoming events, I know that the Chamber also has their 50th annual Chamber Fishing Tournament end of June that I'm actually going to be in town for, playing for the entire week before that and hanging out for the Chamber Tournament. And that's pretty exciting. They have a lot of things going on that weekend, and there's going to be a lot of people, moving around and all that other good stuff. So if you don't have anything going on, the 50th annual Chamber Tournament, I believe it's in end part of June. You can go to the website and check out the dates and all that other good stuff. But that's, if you don't have any plans to get a partner together, I think that they might have a couple openings. Who knows? They might be full too, because it's pretty awesome event. But No, Garrett, we greatly appreciate it. I know that we took up a lot of your time. I know that you're really busy, but we just wanted to pick your brain because you're kind of the mastermind out there as far as having the bait shop and the guide service and everything else. And you guys offer lodging, and so it. How do they find you again, Garrett?
So you can check us out at brysguideservice.com or edsbarnandbaitshop.com. The Ed's Bait Shop page on Facebook has a weekly fishing report Mondays. I usually throw out a 10-day weather forecast, which I put out this week's forecast, and I already looked, and they raised the temps anywhere from 5 to 10 degrees warmer than what they originally said. So that's good news, So it changes quick out here. Kind of keep an eye on it, and we got good fishing ahead. I think it's going to be a pretty good summer. So come on out, check us out.
I'm excited about it, Garrett. I greatly appreciate your time. Thank you again, sir. And happy Memorial Day, by the way. I think we might have a week.
Pat, thank you.
I think we might have a week before that, don't we? I don't know. Is it this week and next week? And I don't know, but it's just going to get better. The fishing's only going to get better, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, we can only go up from here. I think we're really going to see things pop off in the next 3 to 5 days with this warm weather coming.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks again. We'll click off, and we'll make sure that we stop by and say hi when we're in town.
All righty, Pat. Sounds good. Thank you.